Now I want to talk about a side of this camera that people probably don't give enough credit for, and that's the photography side of things. I think it's funny marketing wise, they call this the Z Cinema camera. And I know where they're going. They're targeting the videographers, the cinematographers that might already be familiar with the red codec and might already own some reds, or might be somebody that's on the fence because they're trying to take their production to the next level. So this was marketed as a cinema camera. Now, the irony of that term is, we all know this, cinema isn't just your camera, it's not just your lenses, it's a lot of things, right? To be something that's cinema, it has lights, has crew members, people, filters, how you edit, your workflow. I mean, there's so many things. Just calling this a cinema camera would mean that there's a big lacking or a lack of photography. Most cinema cameras out there, that's categorized as that, don't even have a photo function. And if it did, it's kind of a watered down workaround just to get a screen grab or a still. But this camera is just as much red as it is Nikon. I think it's more Nikon than anything, where the photos on this thing, this is pretty much the same sensor and X-Speed 7 autofocusing computer that's in all of Nikon's flagship stills-oriented cameras. The Z8, Z6, Z5, the newest version, X-Speed 7. This camera shoots crazy photos. Not just a, I guess it'll do kind of thing that most video-centric cameras have. This camera legitimately could be your only photo camera.
When a new camera hits the market, the first thing people want to do is compare specs, pixel peep, and analyze every frame side by side. And trust me, with the Nikon ZR, people have been doing exactly that. Some folks have mentioned that because it doesn't totally blow out the Sony FX3's image quality, that it's not worth buying. But here's the thing, that's not what sets the Nikon ZR apart. What truly separates the ZR from its competitors is the combination of two things: red code RAW internally and incredible photography performance. It's a camera that gives you stunning high-resolution stills, the kind of photos Nikon has always been known for, and it delivers a professional cinema-grade RAW workflow without bulky external recorders or complicated rigs. You can literally go from capturing a beautifully lit portrait to rolling internal red code RAW footage for a commercial, all in the same camera body. So while everyone else is busy pixel peeping video samples, the truth is simple. The Nikon ZR stands apart because it doesn't just shoot great video, it shoots incredible photos, and it delivers an internal RAW workflow that no one else in its class can touch.
This thing has a 24.5 megapixel sensor, which on the video end of things is amazing, fantastic. But on the photo end of things, this gives you some really, really rich files. For somebody that shoots a lot of raw photos, I actually really love the JPEGs that come out of this. I feel like the JPEGs are a little bit more true to life. There's a certain richness to the files here. I love what Nikon's doing in the photo space. I was introduced to Nikon back in the day, like in the DSLR days. My wife, Kelly, she's a photographer, and she started shooting the old Nikon D series DSLRs. That's where I learned. I actually learned on a Nikon camera. The photos out of this are 100% usable for both personal and professional gigs. There's no problems at all with a 24.5 megapixel sensor to crop in or to blow up pictures for prints. So this thing, again, it is a fantastic photo camera. The next thing I want to point out about this is the autofocus. For someone that shoots a lot of manual focus, I gotta be honest, autofocus is really nice. Sometimes you just want to get the shot, right? Sometimes you just want it to work. And I'm not talking about an autofocus system that gets it done. I'm talking about one that you can rely on. Because why have autofocus if you can't rely on it? That's the whole point, right? Otherwise, I would just take over and shoot manual. So this autofocus system in the Nikons is wicked fast, it's wicked accurate, and I love what they do with some of the focus assist tools, not just in the autofocus, but on the manual focus side of things. If you are a manual focus shooter, or if you're somebody that likes to adapt manual focus lenses on this, the manual focus conformation on this is super unique. It kind of piggybacks off the eye and subject detect autofocus technology, gives you some confirmation that you've locked in focus, and helps you that way other than just giving you focus peaking or some kind of magnification. I love this because this breathes new life into how I can shoot some of my older Nikon F-mount lenses, even a lot of my M-mount lenses. I shoot a lot of Leica M rangefinder, and having those kind of manual focus lenses to be able to essentially nail critical focus every time, that is a huge plus. Not to mention that you could use those lenses for videos and get really, really interesting renderings and just a unique look off some of your images. Speaking of older lenses and being able to adapt, I love the Nikon Z mount. Now, here's the cool thing about the Z mount, and I'm not an engineer here, but I think the Z mount has the shortest flange distance. That's another really great thing of how Nikon has positioned this camera. Instead of saying, hey, jump ship, just come over to our system, Nikon knows that we probably are shooters that have owned a Red or own a Red currently. Maybe we own some Sonys, maybe we own older cameras or another system, and it's saying, hey, look, we're cool with everybody's stuff. Bring your lenses to the party. You might have some old great glass from the EF world, Canon EF mount. Bring those too. For both photo and video, this is such a cool tool to be able to adapt literally any lens you want onto this system. The gotcha here for a lot of folks is there's no EVF. As someone that probably does more photos than video work, I would say that I am missing the EVF. I would love to have an EVF on this thing. That would really help me in certain situations to not only critically compose and see things really up close, but I think a lot of times the type of photography that I do, reportage and kind of behind the scenes stuff, it's nice to have a little bit more anonymity by putting that into my eye and looking there and not just shooting off the back of the screen. Something kind of interesting happens when you do photos off the back of the screen. Everybody starts looking at your screen, which on this Nikon is a brilliant screen. It's a huge 4-inch screen. So I find myself taking photos and then looking around and everybody's looking at the back of my screen. And so I've kind of blown my cover, so to speak. Having an EVF definitely would help get me in there a little bit. And sometimes I just use the EVF just to look at stuff. I don't even really shoot. I just like having an EVF. It's more of a private viewing screen for the photographer.
Now with that 24.5 megapixel full frame sensor, you get quite a lot of flexibility in the editing process. The 15 stops of dynamic range really allows you to pull down blown out highlights or recover really dark shadows. The NEF RAW files that come out of the Nikon ZR have loads of information. And like we mentioned earlier, that 24.5 megapixel full frame sensor is gonna give you plenty of information and detail when needing to crop in, say if you shot something too wide and you need to crop in and get a little tighter. Well, the information that the Nikon ZR offers is more than enough to get significant crops and prints if you need. And as we mentioned in some of our other videos about the Nikon ZR, we actually love the sleek design of this camera. I know it's gotten a bad rap about the small grip on the side. Well, that's why there's companies like SmallRig, because they have an awesome side grip that you can actually buy separately, which adds more size and girth to that side handle. So the option to have a camera that's really sleek and pocketable really makes for a great street photography camera, especially if you slap on some of the really cool, sleek Nikkor SE lenses like the 40mm that I have on my camera right now. And they also have a 28mm version, which has a really cool vintage Nikon lens look. So the fact that you can carry this camera around on a small neck strap while also having 6K red raw internally, I know that's video spec, but also being able to shoot 14 stops of color bit depth, 15 stops of dynamic range internally, incredible raw photos is really a dream. So please, my fellow YouTubers, don't overlook the photography specs of the Nikon ZR.
Now, at the end of the day, who is this camera for? Who's using it? I think this is a camera for everyone. It really is. It's not an entry-level camera. It's not, hey, this is the best camera to get if you're just starting out. I don't believe that. I honestly think that this camera, for someone that's a seasoned pro or someone just starting out, everybody can benefit and use this thing. In particular, folks that like to shoot both photos and videos. If you're kind of in the middle there and you know that your work, both personal and professional, might pull you into either one of those lanes, and oftentimes what we do is we have to do that simultaneously. So to be able to do that in one machine so quickly and so seamlessly and with high quality without sacrificing that, I think that's a big point too. A lot of folks can get a video-centric camera and the photos are lagging, or you get a photo-centric camera and the video specs just don't work. This camera allows you to do both and do both really, really well. So I think this camera is really geared towards anybody that needs something that can be fast, reliable, and can give you really high quality on both ends. And if you do get into the Z mount, Nikon's making some extraordinary glass, and they always have historically. Using that whole catalog of what Nikon's done through the history of photography is at your disposal. Plus the new Z mount lenses are fantastic. So even if you're just a photographer and you don't shoot video, and you might overlook this camera, I would urge you to not overlook Nikon as a company in general. Who else is this camera maybe not for? Well, if you are so well established into your niche of what you're doing, either both photography and cinematography, yeah, it might not make sense to pick this up. Maybe you already have your setup for video that is like as tight as can be and you're in a niche there that you're good to go. Great. Maybe you're in a workflow with medium format stills photography and you're like, man, that's all I shoot and that's all I need to do. Yeah, great. Maybe you are a war or reportage photographer that uses more film and smaller manual focus cameras. Great, I get it. This might not fit. But Nikon's made it really, really, really hard for any creative out there at $2,200 to not do a quick double take. Because for that price, and I would argue anybody in the niche photography and cinematography space, $2,200 for a camera that can do all this is chump change. I know you guys have batteries in the cinema world. You have dove plates. You've got rigging cages for your Alexa LF that's worth more than this camera. So it's really gonna be challenging for people not to just look at this thing and go, wait a minute, should I just pick one up and see what all the fuss is about?
For me, I did not get enough information on if this camera can shoot good photos. Well, now I know after using it. It shoots incredible photos. It shoots incredible videos. It's a true hybrid camera. Put a comment down below, guys. Let us know if you guys are like, man, you guys are knuckleheads. I don't know what y'all are doing. None of this is accurate. Put it in the comment section down below. We'd appreciate that as well. We'd also appreciate good comments too. You know, we have feelings too. So any comments that you guys put down below, we read them. And Dean, he cries at night over some of the bad comments. Just kidding. We don't get very many bad comments. So appreciate all you guys that are putting great comments in there saying, you know, hey, thanks for the content. This really helped me. That's really our focus on this YouTube channel, is to put out content that will only help you guys in your gigs or in your client relations, whatever the case may be. We want to help. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, give us some love. And yeah, hopefully you guys appreciated this video and are wanting to pick up a Nikon ZR like we did. Hey, we appreciate you guys a ton, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.